fitting in. Why is it so freaking hard? Maybe I can help you with that. Okay, but if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna talk about not fitting in, then you're gonna come with me to leave this paper crane somewhere out in the community and we can make someone's day. You'll be able to have a look at the post as well on my Instagram, which is @papercraneofhope. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot my own Instagram account then. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the fact that we all struggle to fit in. Oh, fitting in. Why is it so freaking hard? I mean, it makes sense. If you're an introvert or an INFJ or even an INFP, you're welcome here too, then you make up about 1 to 3% of the world's population. Okay, introverts are like 25% of the world's population, but INFJs 1%, INFPs 3%. So if you're standing in a room of 100 people, there is one other. No, you're that person. You're that INFJ. And all the 99 other people are something else. 2 of them are probably INFPs. I get it. It sucks when you're the weirdo. It sucks when you don't quite fit in. It sucks to be made feel I can't even talk. It sucks to feel like the weirdo. It sucks to feel like you're different. As my username was on the internet back in the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
My username was Freaky Chick because that's how I saw myself. I knew I was different. I never felt like I quite fit in, like I was a fish out of water. And if you're watching this, then I know that you have felt the same way, you feel the same way. It sucks when you're with a group of people and you're not quite sure on the social cues, you don't quite know when to speak or not to speak or what to say when you can speak, and you end up saying something completely like madness. And it sucks when all those people at the party are talking about like what feels like completely irrelevant topics to you, and you would rather talk about like quantum physics or like, I don't know, spirituality or something really deep, and you go up to someone while they're having a drink and you're like,
so tell me, what's really going on in your heart?
And they look at you like you're a nutcase. I know what it's like to be at that party and it's just so overwhelming, so you go hide in the bathroom just to be away from them, just to recover, just to try and re-energize and not feel like such a weirdo. But it's like no matter what you do, you still feel different. But my question to you, my fellow introverts, INFJs, INFPs, all the empaths in the world, all the highly sensitive people, all the socially awkward people, my question to you is, why does it matter if we fit in? Why are we trying to fit in? Why are you constantly trying to work out how to be and what to be and how to be like the others? Why? Constantly molding and changing ourselves just to appease others, just to make them feel more comfortable, just to make them feel like they're normal. Why do you feel like you need to try and, I feel like I got something in my eye. Why do you feel like you need to always be trying to fit in, only to end up miserable? I'm going to tell you a story. So, I've actually been pretty blessed and I'm very grateful that I've always been able to make friends, and I've been surrounded by really beautiful friends. And it started firstly with my neighbour, and then also my BFF, Juliet. Hi Juliet, if you're watching. She and I met in kindergarten, and I was the weird little kid who didn't know how to speak. I had a speech impediment. She came up to me, she became my friend. We've been best friends since. And I've always been surrounded by really amazing, beautiful people who have accepted me for who I am. I felt comfortable in being completely myself, in showing up in who I am, being my weird, quirky self, being my deep and soulful and soul connection person, and encompassing all aspects of myself. And I feel grateful that I've learnt to do that since I was a little kid. But then, when I was about 19, don't you hate it when you've been talking forever and you check the phone footage and you realised it wasn't recording? That sucks. So here I am, being my authentic self, now 19. I'm a bit embarrassed to tell you this, but I went to a mega church.
Da da da.
I've never mentioned this before on Instagram. I haven't talked about my experience in mega church, mainly out of fear and people judging me and people who went to that church watching me. And you know what? It's another story for another day. But I went to mega church, and it was in that moment that I learnt that not everybody is accepting and loving of people who are a little bit different. Not everybody is going to love the weirdo or the quirky person or the one that is just being fully themselves. For some reason, I was just lucky that before that, I had all these amazing people in my life who were accepting. But walking into that mega church, I quickly learnt that to be myself, to dress the way that I wanted to dress, to show the quirky parts of my personality was not good enough. And that I would never be good enough, and that I would never be given opportunities because of that. And I specifically remember being 19, it was after a meeting, and there was a circle of girls. So I'm standing with a circle of girls, there's probably 8 of us. We're all standing around talking, and I remember thinking like, when do I say this, and how do I act, and how do I be like them? And one of the leaders in the church came up to this group of girls, with me in the group, and she said,
I want to invite you all over to my house. I want to get to know you all.
So everybody's like, ooh, like, you know, the leader of this church wants to hang out with me, how exciting. And one by one, she went around to each girl, got their number, and then eventually it came to me in the circle, and I just remember, I feel so sorry for my little 19-year-old self. I remember she looked at me and then just kind of kept going and went to the girl next to me and got her number, and then it was like this unspoken thing happened. Next thing I know, the circle just kind of got a little bit smaller, and I found myself just naturally being squeezed out. And now I'm standing here looking at this circle that I'm no longer a part of. And I remember I walked to my car and I just sat there and I cried and I cried. And then I drove myself home. I looked myself in the mirror and I was so angry with myself. I blamed myself and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, why do you have to be so weird? Why can't you be normal like everybody else? And I was so angry. And then I found that over the years, I began to change parts of myself so that they would accept me and love me. I changed the way I dressed. I changed the way I acted. I hid all my little parts of myself. I changed who I was, and I wasn't true to myself. And I was so sad. That girl was so sad. She was miserable. And eventually at 24, I had a massive wake-up call, and I walked away from it all, which is another story for another day. And over the next 10 years, I had to deprogram my thinking and deprogram the way I saw myself, and I had to learn to love myself again and rediscover my true personality and my true authentic self, and dress the way that I wanted to dress and be the person that I want to be. My question to you is, why do you want to fit in? Why is it so important? Because in my experience, when we're trying to fit in with other people, you're going to lose a sense of yourself. And when you lose that sense of who you are and what makes you you, you're not going to be happy. You're going to constantly people pleasing, constantly trying to say or do the right things. And that's really exhausting. In my experience, the right friendships, the right people for you to surround yourself with, they're going to love you for you. And when you can shine and be your complete authentic self, you're going to know straight away if you're around your people or not. And it's okay to, if people aren't accepting of you, like, them. Find other friends. There's a whole community out there of people like you and me. There's Facebook groups. There's so many communities out there on the internet, and even just like out in your community of people that are going to accept you for you. But I think before that can happen, you need to learn to accept yourself. You need to learn to love yourself. So how do we love ourselves? Where do we begin to love ourselves? I think that's getting to know yourself more. And you're an introvert, so I know you love your alone time, and when you're alone, you can really get to know yourself a bit better because you're not absorbing other people's energy and absorbing their personality. You can, really get to know yourself. I used to go for long drives on my own. I've mentioned it before. I love journaling. There's all different ways, and you need to find what works for you. I don't think we need to try and fit in. You're unique. You're special. We need your uniqueness. We need that special thing that you bring to the world, because how freaking boring would it be if we didn't have you and didn't have all your little weird things? We need that. So yeah. Okay, bye. Love you. Bye. Okay, all my beautiful introverts and INFJs and socially awkward people like me. Now's the time that we leave the paper crane. But first I need to write a message, and it's going to be based on what we just talked about. So I'm going to have a think now. I originally left it on the bench that was overlooking the ocean, but I was afraid that the wind would blow it away and nobody would find it. So I've put it on top of the bin where you get like the doggy baggy bin things for little dog doos. So yeah, I think someone should find it pretty soon. School is almost over for the day and people normally come to this beach for a walk and to bring their kids, so I'm sure they'll see it. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit subscribe, like this video. Every time someone subscribes or likes, then YouTube thinks, oh, she's really cool, I might promote her. And that would be so helpful to me, and it would mean that all of you 1%ers and 3%ers can find each other and feel more supported and more loved and know that there's a place for you where you can fit in. Okay, bye.